This year is Boom Studios' Go-Go Power Rangers comic issue number 12. We begin with Kimberly in Dracon's world, taking out some of Dracon's defences. She notes that they aren't actually Rangers, for they're just people wearing Ranger-inspired suits. She shoots an arrow from her bow and it is caught by Dracon. So Kimberly actually made it far enough to see Dracon face to face at his lair. He says they've been fighting for a long time, but they've never killed one another. Asked what was stopping them, Kimberly jokes there wasn't a clear line of sight. I do like Kimberly's sense of humour given the situation. And even Dracon laughs in response. He asks Kimberly to join forces with him. I actually really like this version of Kimberly because she says she lost her chance to save Dracon a long time ago, and was willing to kill him as there's no way back. Dracon though obviously survives and then immobilises Kimberly. Before Dracon killed Rita, she had taught Dracon the spell for mind control, so he creates the Bow of Darkness, modelled after his own Sword of Darkness in the past, and Kimberly turns evil as Dracon's Ranger Slayer. So it's nice to see how Kimberly got brainwashed in detail. Now, back to the present. We're at Jason's house, which is red, as is some of the interior. The Rangers sure like their colour-matching clothes and homes in this universe. Jason wants his dad to tell his mum what's been going on with his health. Even though he's only 15 years old, Jason's experience as the Red Ranger has made him wiser, and he has the family sit down so they can listen to his dad's problems and how they're going to find a way to get through it. Over to the command centre and we pick up from where future Kimberly rendered Billy unconscious. Present day Kimberly then walks in and thought future Kimberly had played the Rangers. Future Kim tries to explain in comical fashion, but present Kim immediately morphs. She's ready to fight, but future Kim just wants her to listen. She begins to vaguely explain what she's trying to achieve, that she'd be out of history's way once she succeeds. But then present Kimberly's communicator goes off, leaving her to decide whether she should stay and fight her future self or go to help the other Rangers. She decides not to pursue future Kimberly and even says she kind of hates her at the moment. It just shows how much she doesn't trust her, and yet she has a point. Lives would be at risk. And we see why as Rita's monsters are attacking. Matt tries messaging the Rangers so they can all go to the site, but the Rangers don't respond as they morph and summon the Dinozords. Despite being reckless once again, at least Matt shows a more loving side as he messages Kimberly, telling her that he's going into the city to find the Rangers, and if something does happen to him, he hearts her. Very modern thanks to the technology these days. The Rangers put together the Megazord and begin taking on the two monsters. Hammadillo, an armadillo with a hammer, and Crush Station, a lobster with a mace. Ridiculous sounding monsters like you'd expect from the TV show, and the Rangers say Rita's never boring. So the writers here acknowledge how silly the monsters in the Power Rangers franchise are. The Rangers struggle to fight the two monsters, but they can't fight in their individual Zords, as they're not fully repaired from the Gravezord battle. There are a lot of discrepancies in the Zord cockpits across the Boom Studios comics, and that's probably down to the different artists and different interpretations. This Megazord cockpit is a lot more advanced, and it's just cool to see this modern look. So the monsters have the advantage over the Megazord, and the monsters fire a blast of energy at the Megazord, knocking the Power Sword out of its hand. We then see future Kimberly at the site where the Gravezord fell. She re-energizes the Zord with the green shard seen in previous issues. Matthew sees what's happening and tries to message the Rangers via WhatsApp group messages, but his phone doesn't appear to have any signal. The Gravezord begins to rise, causing rubble to fall around Matt once again. This complicates things for Kimberly slightly. Matt pleads for his life, but Kimberly says she won't hurt him. Matt realizes it's Sally and asks what her real name is. Kimberly apologizes to this timeline's Matt, saying not telling him the truth was one of the greatest regrets of her life. Back to the monster battle. The monsters continue their onslaught on the Rangers and the Megazord is sustaining heavy damage. Suddenly, the Gravesord flies in and takes a slash at Crush Station. Present Kimberly is surprised to see the Gravesord, thinking her future self was long gone. It's true, because future Kimberly's not actually in the Zord. She sent it there to help, and that's when we see her first. The Megazord fuses with the Gravesord to form the Mega Gravesord. This is essentially one of the coolest concepts I've ever seen. And it's kind of strange because the majority of the Thunderzords were created from the Dinozords in the TV series. So what's happened here is basically the Thunderzords merging with their previous incarnations. The Mega Gravesord also makes me think of this. Toei, the company behind Super Sentai, which is the footage Power Rangers is adapted from, drew up some sketches for the second season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It was basically an idea at the time to revamp the Dinozords and give them the ability to combine with the Tigazord. This concept looks different to the Mega Gravesord, but the similarities are there. The unmissable Tigazord elements, the saber-toothed tiger and Triceratops as the legs, etc. So it was cool to see this new Mega Gravesord combination. Now we're at a gym, and somebody is training there after hours. This is Tommy Oliver. So it's this timeline's Tommy's first appearance in the series, and future Kimberly came for him. Tommy wants to leave without any trouble, but Kimberly raises her bow and says she can't let him do that. She attacks Tommy, who tries to fight back, but he's no match against powered up Kimberly. Tommy asks why she's trying to kill him, but she tells him she's not there to kill him, and fires a bow into his chest. This bow is beaming with green energy, and we see flashes of the Green Ranger battles, the Dragon Zord, the White Ranger, Tommy's death in the main comic. And then the arrow vanishes from Tommy's chest. He's not hurt, and he doesn't know what happened. Kimberly said she was giving Tommy a second chance, and when the time's right, he'll understand. So does that mean he now has the knowledge of what's coming, or has he got the knowledge of his alternate self? Back to the Zord battle, the Rangers now have the advantage, although this new configuration makes it difficult for the Rangers to control. Jason found a way though with the Gravesord's help, and so the Gravesord uses a Tiger attack, and also an Inferno Blaster to take out the monsters. What's interesting about the Inferno Blaster is that it's a larger version of Zack's Power Axe. That was cool to see, but how was that possible? That goes unexplained, and as Jason tries to thank future Kimberly, the Gravesord disappears, leaving the Megazord on its own again. In an alleyway, Kimberly is down, seemingly in pain. That's when Grace Sterling appears. Again, it's her first appearance in this timeline. She says she's there to help, so it'll be interesting to see how she'll do that. On the moon, Rita is annoyed that she lost again, and she says if she wants to destroy the Power Rangers, then she'll have to do something she swore she'd never do. Is she going to give Tommy the Green Ranger powers? At the youth centre, the Rangers are relaxing. Kimberly says wherever she is, she hopes she found what she's looking for, obviously talking about her future self. Matt arrives and overhears. He seems angry and tells the group he knows everything, but wants the group to tell him the truth. It appears that future Kimberly told Matt that his friends are the Power Rangers. Matt wants the Rangers to tell him the truth, or he'll walk out to the door and never speak to them again. The Rangers can't reveal their secret, and they are upset, especially Kimberly, who cries. Matt is saddened by their decision and walks out the door. This issue does not say to be continued, so that appears to have brought this arc, the Go-Go Power Rangers portion of Shattered Grid, to a close. It seems future Kimberly told Matt everything. Maybe it's because she witnessed the death of her own Matt, and hopes that by telling this Matt the truth he will keep away from the Rangers, so he will be out of harm's way. Maybe this is how Matt and Kimberly split up now. I'm just wondering what's going to happen in future issues of this and the main comic in terms of consolidating the timelines. This Tommy seems to know something about the Green Ranger powers to come. Grace Sterling has approached alternate Kimberly, and Matt and Kimberly split up here, which must have been different to how they split up in the main comic. So we still have some unanswered questions at the end of this issue. Perhaps the next issue of the main comic or the Shattered Grid finale will provide us with some answers.